Hey guys, welcome back to the Morning Mug. I'm John, your host, and today, guys, we're going to talk about the evolution of cell phones and where they play a role with us today. So, the cell phones, they came back, they were brought out for consumers back in the 80s. I think it was around the later 80s. I'm going to say about 85, somewhere around there. Uh, the first cell phones that came out weren't ones that you could just put in your pockets. They did come out, I know, in 86, somewhere around there, with what they called a semi flip phone. So basically, it just covered the keys that you pressed, right? There was no texting or anything like that back then. Texting and stuff like that was all done by your laptop or your computer or whatever else you had, right? So the first cell phone I can remember that was a monstrosity. I called it. It could never fit in your pocket. It was just way too big. And if you did, you were able to put it in your back pocket. You sat down, you knew it. Okay, it was the Motorola. It was a big gray thing with an antenna sticking down at the top. You had to turn it this way to dial, and reception wasn't all that great. And the people that you talked to were basically just around the block, because well, the waves weren't all that great back then either, right? Um, the flip phone that I'm talking about was the Motorola. It was the 8000X, I think it was called. Them things went for like 4 grand, $4,000 in the U.S. when they first came out, when they hit stores. That's equal to like $12,000 here now today. The elevation of the evolution of cell phones have gotten the technology is like it'll blow your brain. I mean, you don't have to go far to look up anything these days. I mean, you can look it up right there on your phone, Google, Chat, GPT, whatever. If you have an iPhone, even better. And, I just got into the iPhone. I was with like, was it Android? Yeah, Android before that. Uh, the iPhone is a little bit more harder to get used to, in my opinion, but safety is a little bit better. Uh, then we got into what I call the zombie age. Okay, most people out there call it the Facebook zombie. I just call it the zombie age. Um, you got these people that go around with their cell phones and they're just and that's all they do. They do not care what's going on around them. Right? In Quebec City in 1984, statistics show 80 people were killed by distractive texting. And that's where they were texting, just going out into traffic, bang, getting hit by a car, going down into the subway, right down over the stairs and cracking their neck. You know, that was up 18 people from the year before. And it's just getting worse. And that's only one province, guys. One province, that's it. You know, you're not talking BC, you're not talking New Brunswick, you're not talking Newfoundland or any of the other provinces, let alone the United States and the Northwest Territories. So I bet you when you combine everybody that's been injured or killed by texting, you're going to be seeing that is well up over to the 3,000 people. In my books, that's way too many. I remember the days when all we had to do was pick up the phone and dial. And you couldn't do that until you got home. You didn't have the ability to pick up a phone and go back when I was growing up. If you wanted to talk to a friend, well, you met that friend in school and you talked to him there face to face. I think we lost a lot of our um, personal skills. I really do, since the cell phone has come to what it is today. You'll hardly see a bunch of kids without cell phones gathered around and just talking and laughing and enjoying themselves. I know people that work with cell phones and they'll text the person in the next room instead of getting up off their butt and going and seeing or telling them what they wanted. They'd rather sit there in their office chair and text away. And God forbid, we ever lose our cell phone. Oh my good Lord. People that lose their cell phones are the craziest people around, let me tell you. My wife included. She lost her cell phone the other day. It was the end of the world, people. End of the world. I mean, if there was a hole, she would have fell in it that day. Just the way it is. People think that they can't live without this thing. But we have proven that before that we can. And I think if we actually stop doing this and using our mouths, we will evolve even more. People used to, if you were in a relationship, people used to come to you and say, I'm sorry, I don't think it's working out. I think we're done. Now it's just boop, 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 boop. You're broke up. Or you're getting let go from a job. Boop, 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 boop. You lost your job. There's none of this face to face, Not getting the chance to be able to ask what is going on, what is wrong, what happened, blah, 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 blah. To me, cell phones are a downfall. Yes, they are a good thing in some senses. Like if you're broken down on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere and you got that cell reception and you need help, well, guess what? Great. That cell phone's there. Use it. You're in the middle of the woods and something happened. Yes, use it. You know, you're not going to be home uh, on time from a meeting to call your wife. Yes, use it. They were put on this face of this earth for emergencies. And people are using them in everyday situations. No matter if they're walking down the road or going to sleep at night, they're still on their phones. I walked down, or I should say I walked because I drove, I'm sorry. When I was driving around the other day, I noticed these kids crossing the street and all they were doing is boop, 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 and they weren't paying attention to what was going on around them. Now, what happens if that same kid goes into a park with their friends? Yes. But then they all decide to go their own separate ways to go home. And they're just there, boop, 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 all the way through a dark trail, and someone comes out and jumps them. Not aware of your surroundings is a bad thing. In this day and age, you need to know what goes on around you. Not in your own little personal space, but the space around you. I'm not saying, guys, cell phones are a bad thing, because I use cell phones too every day of the week. But if I lost my cell phone, guess what? I'm smart enough and capable enough to go on without it. Some people these days, if they lost their cell phones, it's the end of the world. They will not carry on. It's an addiction, like anything else. I had a boss once that told me if you use something 21 times in a row, it becomes addiction. It becomes second nature, and you'll never stop doing it. You'll have to force yourself. Cell phones are great, but use them when you're in the situation where you can do so safely. They're not for crossing the street, looking down, playing games, or talking to your friends. They're for them times when you're on the bus, or in the back seat of a car, going somewhere, or even in a plane. To be able to talk to somebody or play your games, to keep yourself occupied. I'm sure there's a lot of different things out there that keep our young people occupied besides cell phones. For that fact, I think there's a lot more out there for adults to keep them occupied more than a cell phone. And if we stop using Google and Chat GPT and start using our brains to actually do what we need to do, we'll be better off for it. Anyway, guys, hopefully you got something out of this video today. I'd like to thank all my new subscribers. Please keep coming and keep subscribing to my channel. Leave a comment if you have a comment for whatever I am talking about, or if you have a comment about some other video that I have. So, please comment, like, and subscribe. Help me grow my channel to the next level. I much appreciate it. And until the next one, guys, keep your loved ones close. God bless. Bye for now.